I'm Rob Long, Director of Mission Development and Evangelism. You know, Adventist evangelism is changing. Before, we could draw good crowds by mailing out eye-catching brochures to our communities. But today, far fewer people are responding to the brochures we send them, and the brochures themselves are getting much more expensive to mail. So, with smaller crowds coming to hear the powerful messages that we have to share in these critical times, we face a real dilemma. Last day events seem to be right upon us now, and we have so much to say to prepare people for what's ahead, but our method of gaining an audience is growing less and less effective. In light of this troubling trend, we can keep doing what we've been doing and hope for a different result, or we can change course. As conference leaders, we're electing to change course. Time is too short. Souls are too valuable to settle for the response that we're getting today. So what can we do instead, you might ask? A better question might be, what would Jesus do instead? How did he gather a crowd to hear his message? Ministry of Healing, page 143 says, "The Savior mingled with men as one who desired their good. He showed his sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, and won their confidence. Then he bade them follow me." Jesus preached the gospel and made effective appeals to people whose confidence he had won. By loving interaction with them, meeting their physical and their emotional needs, they trusted him and responded to his personal invitations. By contrast, our invitations are often made to people we have not interacted with, whose needs we have not met, and whose confidence we have not yet won. And so they're hesitant to attend our meetings, or if they do, to accept our message and respond to our appeals. That needs to change. In 2026 and beyond, we want to see Jesus' method of reaching people employed in as many of our churches as possible, as fast as possible, because time is so short. So what would it take for your church to employ Jesus' method? Well, how about first voting as a church board and then a business meeting to adopt Christ's method of reaching people? You can start there. Then once the church has decided to use Christ's method, then start brainstorming ways that your church, with its unique gifts and talents, can interact with your neighbors and your community, with the intent of doing something good for them, physically and emotionally, ministering to their needs, winning their confidence. Then invite them to join you in meeting others' needs, even if they're not yet members of your church. Get them involved with serving Christ with their gifts and talents. The confidence you place in them will grow their confidence in you. And then, having gained their confidence, you can then invite them to follow you to your next evangelistic series. And they will come. Not from a brochure addressed to residents, but for the same reason people came to hear Jesus. They trusted him. Friends, this is our vision for the Indiana Conference. Christ's method and Christ's message for the enlargement of Christ's kingdom. And we have a name for this vision, the Johnny Appleseed Project, named for the man who planted and grew orchards of apples all through the Midwest and is buried in Fort Wayne. We want to see orchards of groups, companies, and churches growing all through the state. As conference leaders, we're committed to doing all we can to make this vision a reality. And that means sponsoring pastors to be trained and mentored in revitalizing churches and organizing for community engagement. It means providing our churches with up-to-date demographic information on the needs in their neighborhoods and communities. It means providing technology and software to track new contacts through a complete process of discipleship. And it means providing funds for effective community outreach programs that your church can do. So here's something really exciting. Lilly Endowment recently gave us a $400,000 grant to employ Christ's method throughout our network of churches. That's a strong confirmation from God that he's behind our focus on Jesus' method. But it gets even better, friends. For every dollar that we can raise in the next 3 years, up to $400,000, Lily will provide $1 in matching funds for the Johnny Appleseed project. That means our grant total could equal as much as $800,000, coupled with the $400,000 that we raised. Total funding for Johnny Appleseed project could equal $1.2 million. So here's my appeal to you. If you're inspired by this vision, if you like the direction we're taking, if you want to help us get to where we want to go, please begin donating to the Johnny Appleseed project. You can do it through your offering envelope at church. Just write Johnny Appleseed on a blank line there under conference offerings. You can go online to adventistgiving.org and there's a category there. Or you can just scan the QR code on the screen. It will take you to our conference giving site and you can give to the Johnny Appleseed project. However you give, please give to this as often as you can. When you have a little extra money, remember Johnny Appleseed. When you're giving systematically every month, remember Johnny Appleseed. Friends, if we all get behind this, we can quickly reach our $400,000 goal. You know, that's the price of an average house in many places today. Surely, as a conference of 10,000 members, we could come together to purchase one house, couldn't we? Of course we could. And so I say, let's do it. What do you say?